Welcome back to what's Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a T-100 LT. It's a Soviet Tier 10 light tank, and it's located on the north spawn of Malinovka under the command of Mr. Music 611 of Salty Jedi Alliance. Now he's armed with a 100mm gun, and that's capable of doing 300 alpha, but the best thing about this tank is its speed and its camo. It is incredibly stealthy, very low. In fact, I think they use very short tank crewmen to man it, because really you couldn't have a tall guy in this tank. It really is flat, almost like a pancake, you might say. Well, game started and he's headed off towards the bush to do a bit of spotting, and I should warn him actually, the first thing I do on Malinovka if I'm in an Arty is fire at this bush. The very first thing I do, regardless of whichever Arty I'm in, I always fire at the bush. So be aware, there's somebody with an Arty out there, and he's more than likely going to target this bush. We've got a T-95 there. You can see him on the outline, but if we fire at him, he'll spot us, and then he'll do damage to us. So the best thing we can do at the moment is just sit here and pick up all the spotting and spotting damage. And there's some nice spotting going on, nice damage going in. We've almost got 1,000 hit points. 993 at the moment. Oh, that Conqueror. Now we're up to 1,637. So we've earned a spotter badge at the very least. 1.8. It's going up. And now it's at 2.1. Now it's not advisable really to move out of this bush, but this music is doing it. And he's popping back in again. Sometimes, if you're spotting in this bush, it can be better to relocate to the bushes slightly to your left. But the worry about that is if the enemy has actually got a spotter up on grid square F7, they might see you. There is an enemy spotter coming this way. It's a Wizzy 1321, and there's a Waffenträger Alf Panzer here. I don't think he saw us, but we have been seen now. The Wizzy 132 proxy spotted us. We got close enough, and we were in the open. That Wizzy 132 took some damage, and we got a shot into him for 301 hit points, which is an average roll. But yeah, we are spotted now, and the enemy Arty is paying attention. So we're going to have to go unspotted, yes, because more Arty rounds are coming in, and we're getting stunned. We need to move over to the other side of the battlefield, go unspotted. Now there is a Wizzy 120 and a Conqueror over on this side. But he might be able to get across that battlefield behind those hedgerows without the enemy seeing him. He's probably gone unspotted now. I'm pretty sure he has. If he can get over to those hedges over there, he can probably spot much closer to the enemy, and they'll never know he's here. He's doing it, and he stops in the bush. Nicely done. This is a very good spotting position you see here, because you're much closer to the enemy than the other bush, and you're also unlikely to be seen with such a stealthy tank. You have to get very, very close to actually spot the T-100 LT. The same is true of the ELC 790. So this position actually enables you to get very close to the enemy. And that Conqueror, well, he's in full view, but there's nobody except the 50 TP behind us able to get a shot into him. Well, it looks like Arty is firing a few rounds in because he's stunned. Oh, we've lost all sight of them now. Can't be seen from this direction, you see. That's the other advantage. And we can see the tanks up on that hill on F7. And we fired. Now, we weren't spotted. So it looks like the Conqueror has pulled back behind the bushes. And that Wizzy 132, oh, he's gone. Okay, now there's a T-54 there. We can't see his outline. He must be having something must be obstructing our view, and I think it's a rock actually. I think he's sitting behind the tanks or dead tanks or the rock. The IS-7's actually gone behind that mound. Ah, it's popped out to have a look and probably attract some fire. We've got 2.6k of damage spotting so far. Now, this just goes to show how stealthy the T-100 LT is. But it does have a very good top speed, 72 kilometers an hour. And that means that it's very difficult targets to shoot at because he's so flat, so quick, so stealthy that you can get really close to the enemy and troll them by attracting all their attention and getting other people to shoot at it. Well, we're not double bushed on that T-54, but not really. If we did fire the IS-7 on Conqueror, might see us. There must still be some enemy tanks near their own cap area. Yep, there's the IS-7 again. Pops out to have a look. Pulls back behind the mound. In fact, he's a bit wasted there, actually, in that position. You can see a Death Star moving about in the back of the cap area. And I think we're the only ones spotting that Death Star, so if he does get damaged, we're going to pick up extra. Well, we've got to 3.8k of spotting damage so far. So that's going to earn a fair bit of credits. Now, were we spotted? No, we weren't spotted. The Sixth Sense didn't go off, and he does have it. So moving from one bush to the other gets us closer to some of the enemy, but we're now being joined. We've got an object behind us, a 430. And there's an enemy tank. It's an E50. But he's on the other side of the lake. That's F7 position, the AMX 1390. Oh, we take a swing at him and we get a nice hit. But were we seen? No, we weren't. And that means that those tanks, the other tanks that are only a short distance away from us, were behind cover at the time and they didn't see the shot. That E50 is coming down that slip. He's in that spotting slip, in that dip on the ramp at D6. It's a very dangerous position, that, because you can spot up the hill and also you can spot enemy tanks that are nearby. Oh, and T-95 now. He's not specifically looking in our direction. He's looking at our teammates. But he's prime target for Arty, and he's already been stunned, so he has been hit. Our spotting damage has now gone up to 4,813 for Mr. Music. Now, he could put around into the side. The side armour on the T-95 is fairly weak. But he's holding fire for the moment, because if he did, he'd probably be spotted straight away. Okay, IS-7. Oh, perfect opportunity. Should have been the engine tank. Engine. Yep. Didn't penetrate though. Must have hit the space armor. Did it attract the IS-7's attention? Yes, it sure did. I think he was probably saying to himself, how come I got hit so close? But we were double pushed at the time. Okay, batch at 155.58. You can't miss that target. And oh, what's he doing? Is he on the water's edge? He might drown if he's in that position. And he has drowned. He fell off into the water and drowned. It can't be because his team's losing. I think he just made a miscalculation, went into the wrong place and fell off the edge into the water. Of course, I'm very much against any player drowning themselves deliberately. It's rather silly. There's always hit points to be gained and more credits to be earned and experience to be obtained. So you might as well just keep playing. Especially as an Arty, because you do have the advantage of a magnificent big howitzer. And even if you haven't got a big howitzer, just a tiny little pop gun, you can still play the enemy. Well, there's only 5 enemy tanks left. 3 of them we know are near their cap. It's just that E50 that's being a bit of a nuisance. Now, what Mr. Music could do at this point is move up to the next tree line near those bushes. That would be very close to the enemy tanks, but it would give them more spots on where the enemies deployed themselves. It might be worth taking the risk, because there's only 1 enemy RT left alive, the batch at 155.55. Oh, he knocked a tree down, and another one. Oh, he's knocking all the trees down to provide extra cover. But of course, it does announce your presence. If a tree goes down, people say, oh, tree going down. Somebody must be there knocking it down. That E50's up on that ramp, spotting our guys, allowing their Arty to do some damage. It's getting a request for fire on that E50, but it looks like the Waffenträger Aufpanzer 4 is the one doing the spotting or requesting the fire, and he's under fire himself. Yeah, he's gone. Bad mistake, really. Waffenträger Aufpanzer 4 doesn't really have the armor to survive. E50 managed to puncture him. But there's that T-95 outside those houses. Oh, he's gone. And now the spotting damage has reached 5.3k. So, looks like Mr. Music is getting moving close and see if he can get shots on that Batchat. And one of our RTs does. He gets the M53, 55, gets the kill on the Batchat. So now we're up at this tree line, which I was mentioning earlier, the bush line. He's been spotted. He needs to get over this line quickly. Okay, now he can spot these tanks from a different angle. They can't hide from him now. And he's going to use his speed to get around them. They're aiming at him. Oh, he ran into the house. Keep moving, keep moving. And one of them's down. The IS-7's down. Conqueror's next. Time for the 100mm gun. Yes, he gets a kill and wins the game with that last shot. Whew. That was fun. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. And it's a second-class tank for Mr. Music 611 in the T-100 LT. But he got the Holy Trinity. He got the spotter, the scout, and the patrol GT badge, acting as a light tank in the battle. And I always call this the Holy Trinity, because if you've got these combination, you've really been working very, very hard. The spotter badge for getting at least 1,000 hit points of spotting damage. A scout because you spotted at least 9 of the enemy before anybody else. And a patrol GT meant that you were the only person spotting 6 enemy tanks as they were hit and where they took damage. So let's have a look at the team score. Well, when it came to damage, he was well down the table. He only did 1,211 hit points of actual damage with his gun during that game, but he did get some good shots in. And the high scorer was the M53, M55. He did 3,427 hit points of damage, but he didn't get the high caliber for some reason. It's a bit of a pity. Anyway, when it came to kills, again, he only managed to get the 1 kill. The high scorer was the Super Conqueror, managed to get 4, and the T-95 on the enemy team got 2. But Mr. Music did get 1 kill, at least. And when it came to base XP, he was top of the table with 972. Then came the T-95 with 893, and the M53, M55 with 890. Now, the reason why the XP was so high in a Tier 10 game, well, he fired only 6 shots, got 5 direct hits, there's 4 penetrations. It's a decent gun, the 100mm. Did damage of 1,211 hit points, of which 643 were at more than 300 meters. He did receive 1 hit. It was a penetration, and 2 hits as a result of splash damage during the battle. The shot that he actually received was when he was in that other bush, the spotting bush. He spotted 10 enemy vehicles, so 1 more than he needed for the scout badge. He damaged 4 of the enemy, killed 1 of them, and this is why he earned so much in the way of XP, 6,633 hit points of spotting damage on the enemy. He earned 56,529 credits, and that's on the low side simply because this is not a premium tank. It's a tier 10 standard tank. If it was a premium tank, you'd see a much higher credit score. If it was, say, a tier 8 premium and he was doing a lot of spotting. But yes, it's very good score for a tier 10 tank. That's the thing. And after repair, ammunition resupply and consumables, he still came away with a profit of 4,616 credits. He received 1,458 XP, times 2 for the first victory, took away 2,916 experience points altogether. And he says again, the old fart in the LT100 on Malinovka. Well, even an old guy like me or like you can have a lot of fun in a tank, and certainly I do love spotting on Malinovka, but it's a bit of a challenge to work out which bush is the best one to go to. And obviously be aware that the first spotting bush you went to, that's always the one that gets targeted for either an Arty round or several standard shots, just to test the water and see if there's anybody sitting there spotting your team. The best thing to do is to go to pick a different bush, if you can, for the first spots, and then pull back to that bush after it's been left alone for a little while, because otherwise you're just going to attract attention. But it was a good game. Did get the Holy Trinity, and you did get a huge amount of spotting damage out of it, so very worthwhile. If you enjoyed that replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay that I'll be featuring in the next video.